Good afternoon and welcome to a special presentation. What's power got to do with it? My name is Leslie Lefebvre, and I have the honor of interviewing Cate Collins with this special topic. This is a special week. This is the release week for her new book. Now, Cate Collins is an international leadership speaker and author of the hot new title. I was going to say what's power got to do with it? No, that's the name of this topic of this conversation. The new book that Cate has just released this week, which has hit #1 in 2 categories on Kobo here in Canada, is The Powerhouse in You. Cate, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Mark. Great to be here.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you here. I have so many questions I want to ask you, but first, I do know I was really interested. Let's hear your elevator pitch for The Powerhouse in You. What is this book all about?
Well, really, the book really was birthed as a result of, I'm very honored to work with a lot of different, in fact, thousands of leaders across North America and their teams, and really helping them loosen their underwear in many ways to be more resilient and to be able to step into their power more. What I've been finding actually in the years that I've been doing this, it's been a couple of decades, is that what I've found is that no matter how successful people are, there's still that part of them that feel that they're not, some area in their life where they're not stepping into their power. So they're holding themselves back in essence. So this book is #1 to normalize that they're not alone. And it's also to be able to give them some really key strategies to help them to step into their power and to that greatness within them, the powerhouse that's already been within them all along.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now you have been doing this is day 3 in a 4-day extravaganza that you have planned out for the release of this book. Now, obviously, as a professional speaker, you're comfortable doing the speaking things. But what are some of the special things that you have done this week to celebrate this book?
Well, on Monday, which was really great, we did the kickoff, which was so much fun. And so we had an opportunity just to kind of go over the week, but also it was great for the draws, which, by the way, those are still happening. So as you throw in your comments or your questions, your name will go into a draw with an opportunity to win an ebook, which is so fantastic. And we've got some other things planned as well. Then on Tuesday, oh my gosh, yesterday was just fantastic. We had the Powerhouse panel, and that was really well received. In fact, many shares on Facebook for that particular one. That was with Nancy Shaw, the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce in Oshawa. It was Noelle Coppins, who is, of course, the owner of Remax Jazz, who has several, my gosh, she's got hundreds of agents, but most importantly, they come from a place of servant leadership and giving to their community, which is huge for me and alignment with my values. And then also, of course, was Dr. Karima Velji, and she's the VP of Clinical Services in Ontario Shores. So it was so well received. I was so excited. The women were so open and so vulnerable, and they really shared from their hearts, which is really what I wanted. So it was really great. And today, of course, you get to be stuck with me. I was saying earlier to Mark that, what's power got to do with it? Because I lead into that, really, the Tina Turner song. Got to see her in concert. If you don't get a chance, I put it on your list for when we do get to go to concerts. She was just unbelievable. And so to me, it really, what's power got to do with it is really about where have we in fact had our power robbed in our lives, primarily around in the organizations we work, the businesses we work. Certainly it can be in our personal lives as well. However, it's really about, how oftentimes in leadership, sometimes people can in fact rob us of our energy. And the flip side of that, as a leader, as a manager, which as far as I'm concerned, we're all leaders, right? It doesn't matter whether you have the title or not, that we also have robbed other people of their power. So the book is about kind of getting you to think differently, also to do some reflection and maybe nudge a little bit, maybe a lot, to make some changes. And then most importantly, remind you of the power that's in you, because it's so easy to forget. Like right now during COVID, I find, Mark, that we're all on this stress treadmill, and we're doing the hustle, and we forget to stop and just go, whoa, look at what I've managed to do in spite of everything that's happening around me. So that resiliency is there. So I just want to bring that to the forefront.
Cool. That is fantastic. Now, you talked about that wonderful panel yesterday. I have to pop up a comment from Jen Spear, who says, fabulous panel yesterday. And I have to agree so much. I was trying to control things in the background, and I got just so captivated by these four amazing leaders, and just the conversation you guys were having was phenomenal. But the other thing you reminded me of is that giving, right? This is something that you're doing, is you're sharing and helping people recognize that leadership, even when they're not necessarily in a leadership role. But there's something you've done with the release of this book that helps leaders in charitable organizations. And I know you're doing something special with the sales. Can you explain a little bit about what's going on with that?
Sure. So currently what's happening right now is which I'm blown away. I've had some amazing supporters from the community. I've had Baker Tilly, for example. It's an accounting firm in Curtis, and Laura Wilson has donated, her and her firm have donated 35 books that are going to go to shelter workers. Then we've got JJ McGuire. They have donated their general contractors. And Jeff Robinson, unbelievable. Again, 30 books. Hayes Plumbing, 15, CRCS. That's a disaster team that are just powerhouse people, and they've donated 20. We've had Al from Canadian Custom Design donate 5. So I'm so pleased with the community support, because what we know right now during COVID is that really the alcohol abuse has spiked very dramatically, and as a result, and including that is also domestic violence and child abuse. So what we're finding these shelters are not only full, but the workers are taxed, they're exhausted. And so I'm really wanting us to show up for them and support them and provide them with these resilient strategies. So I'm so excited with the radio interview I did yesterday morning, and just all the different reactions I'm getting from people that they want to be on board. So if you're someone right now that says, hey, I want to donate, I want to buy 5 books, I want you to know I'm going to actually match that. And so on your behalf, I'm going to donate 5 books as well. So you can do it from a business perspective, or you can do it from a personal perspective, where somebody wants to donate, buy 5 and I match your 5. So I am excited with what's happening.
I love that, because you're empowering the people that help empower other people. Which is really, really cool. Now that we've been months and months into COVID, which is just for our generation. I mean, we didn't have to go through the Great Depression. We didn't have to go through world wars, any of those things. This is a major and significant thing where, we've been a little bit coddled, to be quite honest, growing up where we have in the world, and not really having had to deal with some of the strange things that are probably our parents and grandparents had to go through. But that being said, we're going through some really, really challenging times, and a lot of people feel like things are taken away from them. They feel like they're running on empty. And how do you feel, or what would you say to people who say, Cate, I'm so exhausted. I don't have anything left in me anymore. It's been 9 months. We don't know when this is going to end. What's some of the things that you would talk
in a minute? I just want to say hi to Julian here, because I could see you're here. Hi, Julian, for coming in. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Wow. So Sarah, you're going to buy 5 books, and I'm going to, let me see this, count me in for buying 10. Oh my gosh. That's fantastic. Sarah, could you put your company in there so we can also give a plug for you? Because that's really important. Fantastic. Oh my gosh. So I will match that 10. Oh my goodness. I'm getting emotional here. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if I've read that correctly. So if it is 5, I'm still happy with 5. You still got my cheers. Thank you very much.
Sarah said, count me in for buying 10. Jen says, such a fantastic initiative, Cate. Those working in and living in shelters will get so much from your book.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. I feel that way. Thank you so much. And who I have here is some of my writing family here. And so Sarah McFannel has created an unbelievable group of writers. And, we've really supported each other. We continue to support each other. I think we're 5.5 months in. I know 5 months in anyway. So 8:30 until 10 a.m. every single morning, Monday through Friday. So it's been a huge commitment all over. But there's Christy. Yay. Look at all these wonderful
Christy just says, I ordered my hard copy while I read the ebook. Awesome. Dedicated fan, right? You got to read the ebook now on my phone conveniently. Because, Cate, the other thing I think we haven't mentioned yet is you set a special price on both the ebook and on the print book for launch week, which tomorrow, the 22nd of October, is the last day to take advantage of a half price ebook and
Yes.
several dollars, like $4 or $5 off of the print book. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So the actual ebook is regular $9.99. It's going to be $4.99 right now until midnight tomorrow night. So only one more sleep. And then the actual print book is $23.95. However, currently until midnight tomorrow night, it's $19.99. So really excited about, I want you to take advantage of that. So now what do you say here, Julian? I'm in for a hard copy now. It's available. Yay. You betcha. You betcha. So again, that's perfect, Julian. So I'm just going to say, Julian, you go to powerfuljourney.com, and right there you have an opportunity for anybody who's interested that like a signed copy. You can simply go into my site, and you can click, and it's all taken care of. So we'd love that. So thank you so much for everybody for coming. This is beautiful. Yes, actually the Kindle ebook is available now. So when you go again to my website, you'll have that universal link. And so you can just click on that. That's a great question. Thank you, Julian. Yes, so that's both on my website as well. So I know you were saying actually earlier than Mark with regards to, what are with people feeling empty? The biggest thing that I really want to encourage people right now is to take a pause, do that reset, and just be able to connect with themselves and ask themselves this simple question. What would I choose if I loved myself in this moment? I cannot take credit for this question. My chiropractor, Dr. Michael Koulas, this is something that he shared with me several years ago, and it has been a game changer for me. And so it's Awakened Health is the name of his company. And so, sometimes when we're so busy checking off our list, we forget what it is that we need in that moment. I'm going to be transparent, Mark. Before I came here, I had a 15-minute nap because I thought, okay, sister, you got to practice what you preach, because I'm not going to operate it from a creative place and a place of confidence and courage and resiliency if I'm running on empty, like what you were saying earlier. And so I think that's really, really important that, we make sure that we just make our world small right now. Sleep, for example, is very, very, we have a serious sleep crisis. I speak about that in the book, and the importance of us creating really healthy sleep routines. And so I guard my sleep time really, really, and you'd swear I had small children, but I don't. I want to keep an eye here on some of the actual, I love that afternoons are the best. Aren't they, Julian? That's great. I love it. I love it. So I think that, one of the things that I just wanted to say, which I think is really important, I know we were going to talk about that, is just, the whole idea of really what was the inspiration for the book. The inspiration of the book, truthfully, had a couple of different reasons for it. Number one was the fact that, I have had my power robbed in my life. And so it was something that I thought, I don't want anyone, and probably especially my granddaughter, I don't want her to ever have to go through this. Or if she does, I want to arm her with tools on how to support her. I've also been in a toxic work environment. Who hasn't, right? I think we can all pretty much relate to that. And so being able to call out the elephant in the room was really important for me in a way that people felt heard, they felt supported, and they felt united. It's not just me that I've got a bully boss. It's not just me that has a boss that micromanages. It's not just me that maybe my partner or somebody in my family does this. And so, however, having said that, it's then now what? Now what? What do I do now? So I have an extensive background in mental health, and I was a family and children's counselor, in fact, for 15 years. And so wanting to be able to support people in being able to identify, because lots of times people, believe it or not, Mark, don't even know that their power is being robbed. So sometimes it's until they leave an abusive relationship, or they leave a work environment, or somebody new comes in, that you start to look through their eyes and you go, oh my gosh, this is dysfunctional. This is unhealthy. Sometimes it's obvious, however. And so the thing is I wanted to be able to arm people with that resiliency, those strategies that are going to help them get through whatever that they need to do.
Now, I'm going to pop up the comment from Jen. Just stay focused on me. I got some more questions to ask you first. I'll pop it up in a second. I want to get into some of these strategies from the book because they're so valuable. Now, you approach it using quadrants, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you do that.
So again, this whole framework, like even for example, the title, The Powerhouse, where that even was birthed from was I happen to be a certified Pilates instructor. So we talk a lot about your core, or we also talk about your powerhouse. So in a playful way, I would say to my members, I'm going to get us all t-shirts that say I'm a powerhouse. So that's kind of where it all came from, right? And so it was really reminding them the powerhouse is already in them. So and so no different than the Wizard of Oz, where the good witch says, you've always had the power, my dear. And I think sometimes we can lose our way and we can forget who we are,
Right.
So for me, the 4 rooms came from a wonderful Indigenous friend of mine that said, Cate, in our tribe, that we believe in order for us to have balance, in order for us to be able to, step into our purpose and own our power, we need to enter each of these 4 rooms every day in order to do that. So from there, I really just kind of molded it and shaped it into something that really fit my clientele. And that is, it's your mentally fit room, your emotionally fit room, your physically fit room, and your spiritually fit room. And so that's where that came from. I wanted to make it so simple. So I've had CEOs say to me, Cate, when I get on the plane, I'll tell you, your 4 rooms, those handouts, they come with me because it's so easy for me to remember when my life is so full. Which room do I need to check into? All right, I'm exhausted, my physically fit room. Okay, so I need to, when I get to the hotel, I need to go and I need to, hit the gym or go for a walk, or I need to do some meditation, or I need to do some breathing. So I wanted to really keep it simple. Really in many ways, Mark, the strategies aren't like rocket scientist stuff. It's stuff that we already know. We just need to remember it. And I'm confident that all the viewers here, anybody that'll be reading my book, you have some great success habits. I'm confident of that. Sometimes we just need to kind of maybe hear them in a different way to go, oh, wait a minute. Yes, I can resurrect that. That really worked for me. So I'm going to do more of that.
Oh, that is awesome. Now, you mentioned Indigenous, that inspiration for the 4 rooms, but that kind of leads the question, because I'm pretty sure you would have an answer for this question. But for you, as a speaker, as a professional, as an author, is there a spirit animal, avatar, a mascot that you would potentially align with?
That Jen, I know you're going to smile this because Jen's part of another mastermind that I'm in. Yes. And so in the actual Indigenous culture, the belief system where, for example, Christianity, it may be you have an archangel or an angel, a guardian angel, I should say. And then in Indigenous culture, you have a spirit animal that actually guides you throughout your life. One main one. You have different ones that visit you, because I was trained by a shaman for a year. And I use a lot of the methodology still, but mine is grizzly. So the grizzly bear. So for me, a lot of people think the grizzly is just only mean, but they're not. Actually, the grizzly is very motherly, very nurturing. And I'm sure Sarah's smiling as I'm saying all of this. However, at the same time, she's very solid in her power. And particularly when anybody comes around her babes, she can kind of get the claw out. And so I think each of us have that anchor point, and whatever that might be. Some people have said to me, well, my grandmother that's passed over or whatever, but I would say that's probably for sure what's really guided me through this whole journey. I know there's lots of activity here. I want to make sure we don't miss.
Jen's saying bear as well, I think, mentioning it. And then she also said, I have to share this, because of you, Cate, I'm watching this while standing on the beach in the sun. You have taught me about self-care.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's fantastic. I love it.
And Sarah says, Cate Collins, Powerful Journey Consulting. I will be so grateful for all of your reminders to take breaks, practice self-care, and keep resiliency up.
Thank you, Sarah. That's beautiful. In fact, during our writing group, and that's, again, when you get, it's one of the things I talk about as well from the actual, yes, that's right, Jen. A bear did visit while we were in Winnipeg at our mastermind retreat. I forgot that. You're right. A cub, a teenager. That is so funny. So I know that when I say this in the, which is very important, especially in the spiritually fit room, is that we need to surround ourselves with powerhouse people. It is very important that we do that. People that see you, people that you see them, people that know your heart, that they're able to tell you maybe when you screw up or when it's not quite right, but most importantly, they're to be able to hold you up on those days, especially that things aren't so good. And this writing group, it was interesting. I hope I'm not going out of line here, Sarah, but I know there was one time when Sarah was busy because her book, which is an unbelievable rock star book, please write it in the chat here, the name of your book, because this is only number 5 for her. She's another powerhouse in the house. And so, and that was for actually healthcare professionals. And so a really fantastic, fantastic read. And so, she was having a day where she was tired, and I sent her this permission slip. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow night, but wanting to, again, sometimes we just need to encourage each other. Here's your permission slip to go and take care of yourself, because again, as parents, as people who are, I think of Jan, who's such a big supporter of so many people, and we're caregivers for our parents, and so on and so forth, that it's easy to lose sight and become empty as a leader, as somebody in our community. And so we need to make sure that we hold each other up.
That's fantastic. So it sounds to me that other speakers, other writers were really, really crucial in the creation of this book and the working of the book. How is that important for you?
Oh my gosh, it's massive. So I do want to give credit here. Thank you, Sarah. So Rockstar, Magnify Your Greatness in Times of Change. Brilliant book. So anybody here that's in the well, really, I think mental health field, but also hospitals and caregivers and all of that. Please write that in there, because I think it's really important. It's a brilliant book. We've got a lot of books that are coming out from our writing group. So how is it important? There were times, truthfully, where I was in tears. My sister-in-law died during the writing of this. We had to put our beautiful pet down just a couple weeks ago, which I really can't talk about too much right now. And the love and the support from the members was unbelievable. And so people in the group have experienced so many different things. One woman who I just admire so dearly, Sonia, she's had some health issues with breast cancer, and so many different people are going through so much. But to be able to have that tribe, that sense of community to hold you up when sometimes you don't even know you need it. And then there's times I literally skip out of that. I skip out of that session, our writing session, and I think, wow, I just feel so supported, so loved, and also have held the space for other people as well. So it's pretty special.
So it's interesting, because most people, when they think about, well, you're writing a book, you're by yourself at a chair with probably a typewriter or a computer or something, pen and notebook or whatever, completely by yourself, but you're not. You're actually with a huge community, whether they recognize they're with you or not. Is that true?
Yeah. So what happens is, and it's a good point. So, it's not, I think it's probably, I guess, if we did it for 5 years, maybe, Sarah, someone could get a book written. However, the reality is it's the accountability component. So what happens is an hour that's in that 90 minutes that we meet, we literally turn off our videos and our audio, audio as well as our videos, and then we write for 1 hour. So the energy from the group, the vibe, the people working at their highest, their genius, then you just naturally go into that place. There we go, beautiful, right? With friends, I love that. And I think that for me, so I would, for example, and that's one of the things I'd be saying to people now, even again, if you're interested in writing a book or doing a big project, find that genius time for you. So for me, it was morning. Sarah and I are morning people. So I would get up at like 5 a.m. and I would write. And I know you do that, Mark, too. And so, I would write even before the group, right? Jen she's our bat. She's really great at nighttime. I think Julian, he's a morning guy too, if I'm not mistaken, right? And so I think that, the idea of being able to find your sweet spot is really important, whatever it is. So if there's somebody watching this saying, well, that's nice, but I have no idea, I have no intentions of writing a book, that's fine. Maybe there's something that's on your list. Maybe it's a dream or something that you want to do. It may be as simple as getting yourself ready for a job interview. The key is being able to get yourself set up for success.
Right. Cool. So I am very, very curious, because I know the book has a lot of pieces that you've gathered from your professional life, from your personal, and you've put them together. But there's probably things that either didn't make it into the book or were, and then had to be removed. Is there anything you can share about that?
Probably not. So yeah, there is definitely, this was very therapeutic for me. And one of the things that we really were big about in our writing group was just write. So just write for me was about write from my heart. My head came later. It was from my heart. Like if I could say to my earlier writing self, I would say, just stay in your heart, sweetheart, and trust the process. And I think I did that in many ways. However, the times when I self-doubted, I got back into my head again. So I think that, I think for myself, I would have to say that, you just want to just stay in that place. So the parts that didn't go in were stuff about family, things like that, where I thought, I still want to be invited for Christmas dinner. So I better not put that in, or no, and I'm teasing, I have a great family, but just different things that happened where I thought, really, what was the purpose of it, that I thought that it didn't have the same significance later on. So that was the other part. And the other thing too is that you want to make it so that it's manageable for the reader. So truthfully, there's nothing that I can say. I probably elaborated a lot more when I was in the dysfunctional organization. And then I decided that I wasn't going to be that specific because I felt like it didn't need that much detail. So that was part of it. Yeah, that's probably it. And the rest of it, I think it's going to have to stay shredded.
So I can tell most professional speakers that I know are energized on the stage, right? That's where you shine. You just don't need a script. Put me up there and I've got this. I've got the passion. I can do this.
Right.
For writing, which is a different process where you're taking the same passion and energy, but it's a different process. Did that exhaust you or did that exhilarate you?
Great question. So for me, it's interesting. I think for the most part, it energized me because of the fact that I was in alignment with my purpose. So, for anybody here that's, again, looking to write, to me, what I found is that I felt like things just kind of fell into my place. One of the members of our writing group would say something like, oh my gosh, it made me think of a story or an experience that I had or something that I witnessed. So, let me give you a small example, like one part of the book, for example, because I talk about, because I've authored some various MP3s on death and loss. So I've done a lot of work across North America with funeral associations across the world. And so, in that, somebody said something in our writing group and I started to think, wait a minute, that's right. I was at that convention and one of the participants had gone to a room feeling unwell. She was 40 and she never left walking. She died. She had a heart attack. So then I was able to bring out the importance of how in our organizations, we need to, as leaders, be very aware of what we're saying and what we're not saying when it comes to grief, when it comes to pandemics, when it comes to, the current affairs of what's happening right now, whether it's all, Black Lives Matter, whatever it is that's really critical, like those important topics, we need to talk about them. And it's still, people are not talking about it because they don't know what to say sometimes. And I give the example in particular where one situation happened with somebody who shared that a colleague of theirs had killed himself on the weekend, and how the organization dealt with it is they locked his door. Nobody had a debrief. Nobody did anything. I mean, they did go to the funeral, of course, but there was no opportunity. HR had no influence there. There was nobody from management even discussed it. It was like it didn't happen. And so again, when you get those mastermind groups together, they percolate things in you that you never thought would ever come out.
Wow, that is amazing. Speaking of things that came out that you didn't know would come out, was there something about the writing of this book that surprised you?
Yeah, I would have to say the rawness. There were times where, Mark, I really felt like there were times I was in tears. Because the book that I've dedicated this book to my sister-in-law who died during COVID. It was from cancer. And that was very difficult for me because I was number 11. So for anybody who knows what number 11 means, it was at the time when everything was shut down and only 10 people could go to the funeral. So I wasn't able to be there for my husband. So when I was doing some things that I was writing about Mary, I was a wet noodle, So I think there were times for sure. And there were times, to be truthful, I got triggered about the dysfunctional organization I worked in where I was pissed. I was angry. And I thought, oh my gosh. And again, it was another important reason why I wanted to make sure that people could feel united in knowing they weren't alone and that they could find their own way amidst that, whether they left the organization or I gave them tools to step into their power. That was important. And I think one thing is really important, again, Mark, that I want to talk about is that when you asked about the process for me, I literally, and Sarah, I thank you so much for this because she has been a wonderful friend and colleague and consult throughout this journey, is that she said, Cate, it's almost like you're like a marathon runner and you're preparing for that. And I thought that's ultimately what I did. And truthfully, I've adopted that into my book and into my life. So what I do simply is that, from Sunday night right through till Thursday night, so I got one more sleep, is literally I'm sugar-free, I'm dairy-free. I'm dairy-free and gluten-free anyway, but I am sugar-free during that time. Why? So that I can actually step into that genius and be able, and when I'm saying genius, please understand, I don't have PhD like my friend here, Julian, or, all that kind of stuff. I just mean into the sense of our purpose and our alignment, I'm able to have the clarity and the focus that I need. So I'm getting my rest, I'm moving my body, I'm doing my Pilates, I'm taking walks. I'm really, keeping myself surrounded with only people that I feel are the wind beneath my wings and I'm the wind beneath their wings. And those naysayers, it was a non-negotiable. You're not part of this. I can't leave. I mean, some family members, you got to let them in, but they're not going to watch this. So it's pretty safe to say that, but you know what I mean? So I think that it's really important that, we make sure that we have the people in our influence so that we can feel better about ourselves. And I know Julian and I are very big on affirmations. And so that's the other thing I did. I put sticky notes all on the upstairs of our home about I am worthy to write this awesome book. I am worthy to complete this awesome book. I am worthy because, and that's one of the limiting beliefs I talk about in the book. So I needed to know, I knew that inner critic, I knew that second guessing, those gremlins were going to come in. So I needed to already have those visuals around me to basically cancel it.
I love that. I'm sensing a lot of patterns of balance, obviously, in your approach and the way that you live, the way that you share. And obviously that helps with the balance, right? Because those sticky notes are keeping you from tipping too far in a negative direction, probably. So based on your experience with this book, what's something that you would, so we have a colleague that is a consultant, works with companies, with clients, a professional speaker, whatever their passion and expertise is, and they've always been interested in writing a book. What would you say to them? Would you say, no, run the opposite direction? Would you help them with ways to embrace that? What would you say?
Well, I think it's a good question. So I think the big thing is if it's in there, like I'm a huge fan of if it makes your heart sing, do it, right? So sometimes things show up in ways like this book project isn't something that I just, it was a 6.5 months. And in some cases, it was a really very painful birth. But, I think that, it's a serious commitment. There's no question. So make sure that the timing is correct in your life. So if you've got some serious unfinished business going on, I wouldn't recommend it, whether it's business or whether it's personal. I think that if you feel strong about it, do it. I mean, join obviously Sarah's group. She's got people from all over the world that are part of this, right? So I can't say enough about Sarah's writing group. Number one, I think because I've tried to do it solo only, because I think there is a solo component here, no question. I've tried that. I wasn't able to do it. That's just me now, because I have friends that are able to do it without the accountability piece. It's just not for me. And I think because I get energy off of other people, I'm an extrovert. And so I think that the other thing that I would say is just keep a notebook by all the time, because I think that we're all walking Seinfelds. And I think that, if you're not familiar with who Seinfeld is, it's basically he's a comedian. And so, I think that we all have funny stories. We all have painful stories. We all have, lessons that have happened in our lives. But by writing them down, they can also be infused into a book, maybe even a small ebook. Start small. Do an ebook. Do a chapter. Just dip your toe into the water. It doesn't have to be you do the deep dive. But I know for me, it was in me and it was non-negotiable. Hey, Anders. Right on. Oh, wonderful.
Anders says, just started writing my book, and this is great to hear. And I'm sure that you've already inspired other people who were thinking about that. So thank you for that advice. So as we come to the wrap up of this, what's something that, for people who are thinking about checking out the Powerhouse in You, what are some things that you would just want to share, sort of high level thoughts about the process, about how this has helped you even in the writing of it?
Well, I think for me, I'm going to come at it from different angles. So one of the things I want to say is that the book is for, I'm getting people that are purchasing the book for family members for Christmas, for different events. I had one gentleman said, Cate, my daughter and my granddaughter have to have this book. And I have to gift them this. So I think that if you know of somebody perhaps that could use some resiliency tools, maybe it's running on empty, or they could still be just playing full out, and you're saying, hey, I still need them to be able to do that. Like, for example, Dr. Karima said yesterday, Cate, I got a lot of work to do. I'm so glad, I endorsed your book. I'm so glad I came on this panel because, I think we're all a work in progress, number one. I think that, as far as the book itself goes, you're going to be able to sit there with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and just feel like you're talking with a friend. That was my intention for the book. There'll be times where there may be a little bit of tears going on or some remember whens for you. There's going to be opportunities where you're going to go, yeah, like I am a powerhouse. What the heck was I thinking? There's going to be some times where you're going to say, I know what she's saying. She's asking me to do this, because there's lots of different exercises in the book. People can put this book down. They can, say, okay, I'm going to do this section. Maybe I'm going to focus on this room for the month. And I'm going to do some of her exercises. If I'm a leader, a manager, what a great opportunity to give this. I've got Karima actually from Ontario Shores. She's buying it for all of her team members. So, but I've made it so that the exercises are such, Mark, that people can, in fact, do some of those strategies in a team meeting. They can do some questions on a Zoom meeting. I know most things are virtual right now. So they can ask some of the questions of their team members to make sure that they are pouring into themselves. Because the book at the end of the day is really about remembering the powerhouse in you that's already there. It's not like we're trying to manufacture this. It's already inside you. What I want to simply do is help resurrect it and remind you who you are, and then also add to your already, your toolkit that you've already got going.
That's fantastic. Now, Cate, for people who may be listening and not maybe attending to the visuals on the screen, where online can people find out more about you, your book, all the great things that you're doing?
Yeah, so they can go to www.powerfuljourney.com. That's my website. And, by all means, peruse around, help yourself. I know that some people have said to me, Cate, we're going to start with the book and we're going to go next to hiring you to do some training, whether it be virtual or in person, or whether it's a team retreat. Retreats are really my specialty as well. And I love doing my retreats. And so, so the Powerful Journey is the best way to go, because that's where you have the universal links for the ebook, as well as the personalized signed copy from me. And again, I just want to remind people that for those people, and thank you, Sarah. Oh my gosh, you blew me away with buying 10 books. I'm so excited because I think that we're up to something like now 135 books that are being donated to the shelters. And I'm just so beyond grateful, because I have some of the shelter workers that I took to Arizona 3 years ago for my Unsung Heroes program. I took them there and they're reaching out to me and they wanted to buy the book. I said, don't buy the book, don't buy the book. So thank you already for the support. This is wonderful. I just think this is wonderful. And you're right, Julie, solo is hard. And I think that you're right from an introvert perspective. I love your lens there, because whether you're an introvert or whether in fact you are an extrovert, solo is hard. And I really don't believe the human condition is such that we're meant to do this journey alone. Hence why my company name is Powerful Journey. I believe that we do need to come together. So
awesome.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled for everybody with all these great comments and these things. Hi, Roxanne. Good to see you, Rox. Roxanne has a fantastic book coming out on leadership as well. It's around authentic leadership, the heartbeat of leadership. We're still playing with the title, but she's definitely someone that you want to connect with.
Awesome. Well, Cate, thank you so much. And congratulations again on this spectacular week of sharing and caring and all the wonderful things you're doing for the community and to inspire others. And thank you so much for allowing me to be a small part of this wonderful, exciting week.
Yes, thank you, Mark. I want to say really quickly, too, for tomorrow, and I'm so pleased that Anders is on here. So Anders coming in all the way from Winnipeg. Yay! My daughter's in Winnipeg, so I love visiting Winnipeg. So I want to say Anders is going to be behind the scenes and helping me out tomorrow. And so tomorrow is going to be fantastic, because it's going to be, remember, you are a powerhouse. So if you or someone would like to be able to see me in action and basically learn from some of the strategies that are in my book, I'll be sharing those. And a bonus, we're going to be doing some hot seat coaching. So, anybody who's in the audience that says, hey, Cate, I'm stuck in one of those rooms, whether it's your mentally fit room, your emotionally fit room, your physically fit room, or your spiritually fit room, bring it on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And I'm happy to support you. And no, we won't be showing your face. So if you're worried like, oh, I don't need the whole world seeing me, it's all going to be done by chat. And Anders is going to be great and just conveying to me what you've shared in the chat. So I hope you join.
Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is October 22nd.
So thank
Awesome.
you so much. Thank you, Mark. You've been amazing. I appreciate all your support.
Great.
Mark has written 24 books. So again, you got to check him out as well.
Cool. Well, let's focus on you. This is Focus on You. So I'm popping your book up here as we close it out. Thank you, Cate, so much. And thank you, everyone, for your wonderful comments, questions.
Thank you, everyone.